Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of the year planning setup series, Planner Foundation. Haven't really decided what to name it yet. Planner Foundation setup series here on Planner Beat. My name is Angelica. In part one, if you're just joining us, clicking into this video, you probably saw the title. In part one, I showed you how I create my perpetual planner calendar. What we did was we created data sheet. We went around and created the data that we wanted to be on our annual, reoccurring, any year perpetual calendar. This was like any kind of bills, birthdays, stuff like that. Items that we need to be planning for and that we wanted to incorporate into our schedule so that we're always having our eyeballs on it. I called this our master items. You hear this a lot in the planner community of like your monthly master tasks. These are what you are telling yourself are the key, most important things in your life that you need to be aware of year after year. This planner, this sheet is not for year specific things. Like for example, I used in the last video, I'm going to Disneyland October 2025. It does not go on this guy. That does not go on that. It will go onto the schedule as it occurs for the current year, what we're going to be creating here today. So that is what we did, was we created that data and then we plotted it. I showed you, I recreated this, and I showed you how we put in, you know, those specific items that recur that might be date specific, like birthdays, and then reminders we placed in here. And also what makes my system different than, you know, like a future log or whatever. This is not a future log because a future log is year specific. But what differs in my system that I think a lot of people are attracted to is I also put items I should be planning for on this perpetual setup. You're going to see the next step of this is how we're going to transfer that information onto the actual schedule for the year. But I put things in that I should be planning for. Like for example, my nephew's birthday is in April. I put in March that I need to be working on that so that when it's actually due, it's already done, or at least planning for it, or the steps or actions. Key important for if you're a property owner like I am. Property taxes are due in April. I want to make sure I put that on in March to make sure I get it paid for. So it's done, it's taken care of. We're not rushing in and we're not missing things that might fall on the first couple days of a month as well. I use the example of my mom's birthday. Her birthday falls on the second day of November. And if I didn't have something built into my system, like in October, I have here mom's birthday plans, I would have missed it if I'm not flipping through my schedule or seeing it, and I rob myself of the time that I could have had for planning or doing whatever, even if it's like a simple text or what have you. So today I'm going to be showing you how I transfer this information and put it onto the current year's schedule. So I'm going to set this information aside. Ka-chow. I'm going to set this guy aside. So like I said in the first video, we are not recreating this year after year. Once this is created, this is a one and done situation. This is going to be your central place for capturing any reoccurring items. This is not that place to put that current year stuff, that stuff that's not going to repeat year after year. That is what we are going to put on our actual schedule, which is what we're going to do today. So let's set this guy aside. Set this guy aside. Okay, so in this video, you are going to need those sheets that you're going to need your sheet that you just created. And some sort of, I like to use a month at a glance like this. This is a free printable from Scattered Squirrel. And I'll put a link down below. But if you don't have something, like I say, don't be afraid to create it for yourself. You can, maybe if you needed it to be 2 pages for, this example, this hangs on my wall above me. And here's for November, we're at November 16th, the time I'm making this video. And I have a little clip, and it hangs on a pegboard right above my wall, my desk in my room. So it's in my face at all times, because this is my master. This is my life. This is what I need, the key important things. So I like this view. As I say in the previous videos and most of the other tutorial videos that I have here on my channel, is don't be afraid to do your sloppy copy. Don't be afraid to create stuff for yourself if you don't, you know, have the means to either print stuff or go out and buy stuff. So just make it happen. This is for you. This is not for, you know, the planner community, or this is not for, you know, grandma or somebody, unless it is, you know, I do actually have a family calendar. But don't be afraid of creating stuff. If you need a tool to help you get through your life, which I talked about in the first video, make it for yourself. Do it for you. I mean, there's no better gift, honestly. So if I like to, usually when these are about, they do five weeks, because we have months that are not completely, you know, 4 full weeks, or however the days fall. So it's usually, most of these calendars, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5 is right here. Ooh, 5 is right here. Now I guess you could do, you know, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then let's just bring up November. Now let's just use January, for example. You know, in January, and then you can do your days up here: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, if you like me, I like a Monday start. So that's how my work week goes. So I just, Mondays, I don't do well with the Sunday starts. It throws me off. And then it says 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 14. And this is, you know, you setting something up for yourself to work for you. Obviously, you know, I do a sloppy copy if you need to first. This step is not quite involved as the last video, but, you know, just, it's an idea for people. I missed up somewhere. Oh, 2021. Oh, 22. I was like looking into looking up at my phone and at the same time, and I, you know, not counting. I'm just, bleh, but you get the gist. You know, you can do this on, you know, on a simple piece of a notebook paper. You know, have it in a good old fashioned binder, or, you know, a 3-prong folder. That works. I keep my inserts in this, and you put it in there and do what you got. Use what you got. If you want to do something like that. But that was not hard. I mean, you can go back and, you know, measure, make it all even, however you look. But anyways, I'm going to put this off to the side. I just wanted to show you you can do this. If you don't have the tools, you know, if you have a digital, I'm an analog planner, but digitally, you know, if you go in your Outlook calendar, you do kind of get this at a glance, right? And then your appointment sometimes will be kind of like a few little bars, and then when you click on it, it's the day, right? So but sometimes for this step, you might miss somehow, at least how I set it up. I use these blank monthly boxes for things I should be that are due that month, and then things I should be reminding of in the next upcoming month. For digital planners, you might not have that option. So in the next step, when you see that, if you're using an Outlook calendar or something like that doesn't necessarily have this view, or what have you, maybe pick a day of the month, be like, oh, this is my, you know, planning, and then have those built in for the Outlook calendar. But I'm an analog planner, so we're going to be doing paper. I'm going to push this guy off the side. I'm not going to use that because this is my actual calendar. I am going to do just the first 3 months here on camera with you guys. I did already have the rest of the year plotted out, ready to rock and roll. So that is what we are going to do today in today's video. So the very first thing you want to put on your, at least what I put on, is we're transferring the perpetual items. We're transferring these items on first. And then we go back and put in the actual current year's stuff. You know, anything that is for January 2025 only. So let me show you how I do that for me. And yeah, obviously you want to, if you it looks good to you, copy what I got. That's why I'm making these videos. I get a lot of people asking me about it. And my system, for me it works. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of water. So I'll show you how we set that up. I showed you how we got this information. We created it, plotted it from the ground up. So now let's see how it actually transfers over onto a current year schedule. And if you're not doing this a year in advance, you plop in anytime during the year for this. You could start this anytime. Doesn't have to be for the whole year. You know, if you're in the middle, it's the middle of May and you're just plopping in this video, start for May, move on. You know, do what you got to do. Don't feel like, you know, oh God, it's way into the year, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Just jump in at any time. See how that works here in a minute. Okay, so for January, these are the perpetual items I have. Let's see if I can get that kind of, no, let's take it out of the beauty of the disk system, taken out. Okay, sorry. Here's the items I have. I guess I could zoom in with my phone, but whatever. On my list for January that I'm going to be reminded of and be taking action of. So I'm going to show you how I have that. I use the blank, like I said, I use those, the 5-week setup in your traditional month at a glance calendars. And they they'll have those blank boxes, you know, for the date that didn't finish up. So for me, for January, let's see if I can get them both in frame. See if I can zoom in just a touch. Let's see. It's kind of been off here. All right, January. Let's see what I got for January. I'm gonna put. This is how I usually do it. January. Oh, I know. Make sure I order Kiki's fleece. Flea man. Kiki's my cat. I'm gonna change the air filters. And I want to be. We discussed in the previous video, I want to be preparing for an item that's going to be happening in February, and that's my dad's birthday. So I want to put dad's birthday plans for January. These are items I need to be working on in January. These are what my planning items are. How they fall onto the schedule is, you know, how as the month hits, when it gets there, that's for a planning session for that month. So I'm not going to worry about putting it on now, because that's not what we're doing here now. We're just putting on our perpetual stuff first, and then when the actual month hits, then we figure out how it's going to fit into our schedule when it does. Okay, so I said dad's B-Day plans. I need to put in a reminder for my car insurance. Expires, and that's in February. And then the February stuff, I'll put, let's see if I want to put it here. I'll put it down here. So I have that blank spot. February, I'm going to say car insurance expire. Oops. Car insurance. Cars. Oh, doing it live on camera, people. I make mistakes. I just scratch it off. This is my stuff. I don't care. And then another thing I want to be, you know, dad's birthday. Dad's B-Day. And then this other stuff is, I'm deciding I don't need to be reminded in January for February to get taxes done, because this is a reminder I set up, get taxes done for April. And I discussed in the previous video, I gave myself 2 months to do that, because if you know, income taxes stuff, everybody and their mom is trying to get it done in March, or, you know, the first couple days or whatever of April or what have you. So I just schedule myself to get my taxes done, because I do get mine done by a tax professional, and you know, they book out. So I schedule myself in February. That is a February item, so I don't need to be working on it or be reminded of it in January. It's not that bad. But for my dad's I'm pointing down here. For my dad's birthday, his birthday does fall later in February. Right here. But I like to at least have some eyeballs on it. Like, oh yeah, there's, you know, something little going on. And kind of maybe get a gift or start brainstorming ideas for what I want to do for that. For this, winter projects and planning spring projects, your work meetings and stuff like that, that's what I'm going to be putting onto my planning sheets. And that will be in a third video. It might not be a part of, this is my these are my planning sheets here. This is more for long form goal planning. And that is going to be what I put in these sheets. Not everybody does or needs this more. Let me zoom back out here. Zoom out. So not everybody does this, needs quarterly planning or long form planning. So I didn't make it a part of the setup series. So it might be in the 2025, if I do a 2025 setup for that. So that's what that is. So those are more goal and focus items. So that is not something, it's a master, it is something I would like to do, but I don't consider it as a ride or die master thing. If it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. It's okay. So that's how that works. Okay, so for that, I got that. Okay, we're only focusing on the perpetual things. So that's how it looks for me. It might look different for you. I'm not going to put current January 2025 on there yet. I get, like kids schools out and stuff like that. That's going to be, I'm going to go through it first, put the perpetual, and then you'll see what I got. Be nosy, see what I already got that I need to be working on for the actual January 2025 stuff. February. That's February. Okay, so February. I'm going to use this box up here. So February, I need to apply Kiki's Flea. Apply Kiki Flea. And I'm saying this, remember that's a February item. So get taxes done. I'm going to put that reminder in. Car insurance expires. And these are going to be for February 2025 stuff. I'm going to plot those on there when I get done with March, putting the perpetual in for March. So that is it. Let's see, for March, I don't have anything I want to keep my eyeballs on, like due dates for March. So I won't put March. I don't have March stuff on there that's key essential. So that's for me. Maybe you do. So it's cool if you don't have that. Do what you gotta do. March. We're getting into spring. It's busy time starting for March. I'm saying I need to get a haircut. Can you see that? Yeah. I gotta pay the property tax because it's due. The first half is due in April. So I'm signing myself to do that in March to do. And I'm gonna say another thing I need to be working on is Mark B-Day plans with the L, and then I'm going to say April B-Day plans, like that. And then this is long form planning. That's going to be in my project, the planning sheets that I just discussed. So for me, okay. But I have some stuff I need to have my eyeballs on in March for April. And that, of course, is the first half of property taxes due. For me, it's April, and then the second half is due in October. So you can, for financial wise, if you can't play the big old lump sum, they give you you can put half down on April, the other half in October. So first half of property taxes is due, and then I'm saying April also, the income tax is due. And then I have, I'm gonna say my nephew's one, because he lives with me, that we actually do like decorating of my house and stuff like that. So his birthday I'm gonna put on here just as a reminder. And then maybe April birthdays, kind of that there's more than a couple ones. So that's flagging me. So when I sit down to plan March, when March 2025 hits, move this out of the way. When March 2025 hits, when I go, I use my weekly. Let me get my file facts here. When the month actually hits and I go to sit down and plan the month, that is something I'm saying, hey, you need to start working on these birthday plans, because when April hits, that way you're ready for it, depending on when those birthdays, and I have it here. Let's get it. This is for April, because April's already done. So I plotted all that stuff already for April. So let's do that for January, for March. That's the next step. After you process your perpetual calendar, then you're going to go back and put in the year specific stuff. So let's go in there and do that. Let me grab those sheets again. I have a small little baby desk. And so I'm like throwing papers everywhere and there's not a lot of room. Let's see. Okay, April. We're doing January. So January. And one thing I put on here is it's my typical setups, or my work meetings, which, you know, I put in my perpetual here. Year work meetings. I'm going to be putting in January stuff I already know. And that is when I am going to pull my personal rings. Because I actually already set up 2025 already in this guy. This is the satellite for this guy, but I saved setting up these sheets for educational purpose for this video. So I do have that information already off to the side. So I'm going to be talking my way through it after I find some other sheets. So one thing I like to do, I also create, and this is also from Scattered Squirrel. I'll put the links below, letter size. Is I like to have a year at a glance, and this is so I can see when my paychecks are coming for my day job, and also when I get work holidays off. So I'm going to be using this sheet as well when I set up my monthly master schedule for the actual year. So that is something, if you're interested in. I keep this just like my monthly master. I keep this one on my clipboard as well. That way I can see what's coming up. Even though I do sit down and set up, like I said, the whole year is already set up for 2025. It's just something I like to, like, oh, you know, ooh, I get 3 paychecks in August, because this is set up like this on the wall, and so I don't have the whole year spread out. So that gives me this gives me that little snapshot of the year. And then in my planning sheets, sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes I put the paychecks in my year at a glance for my planning sheets, which will be in a different video if you're interested. Anyways, so that I use that, and that link will be down below. That's super helpful. I do use the same setup for my work stuff, which I'll have in a different video, because all my work stuff is at work. Highly recommend doing this if that is something you do. I keep a snapshot of this in my budget book. My budget book, I didn't have time to censor all the stuff, so I can't show it, but this is great for if you wanted to see when those holidays are going to hit for work and stuff like that. I don't go through and put like the kids' school stuff on here, because this is just for me, for at a glance, and the things I chose to put on this is those work holidays and the paychecks. So, cha-cha! So I'm going to use that to fill out January. So I've got some highlighters here off the side, and it looks like I get a paycheck here. This is the third, so we get paid bi-monthly every other week, and here, and then there's the New Year's Day is here, so I'll say off New Year's, okay, and off to the side Another thing I put on off to the side here is school stuff for the kids, because I am a primary caretaker for them. They are my niece and nephew, my sister. They're my roommates. They live with me, and so I do stuff for them, and so that will indicate where I need to pick them up and where they need to go and stuff like that. So there's no school on this day. Remember, this is just for January 2025. We already put in our master perpetual things that are going to float year after year. And now we're going in and putting in the year specific stuff. How this looks for you, at your jam. And then when kids' school start, they're coming back from winter break. So school starts. And I got some movies on here I want to see. What's in color? These are just the release dates, and then it doesn't mean I'll actually see them. Just like, hey, that looks kind of interesting, and when that comes out, if I want to do that. That's personal stuff, and that's actually what I put on that perpetuals for me to do that when I sit down and do my months. All right, February. For February, for something that you know is coming up that you don't know the actual date, is when I use sticky notes. So my mom and dad told me in February that they're going to Texas in February. That's my dad's home state. But they didn't give me the dates or anything. I have this in here because I cat sit for them. So I go and check on their cats and make sure the house is good. That's the idea if you need to forward plan but don't have the specific dates, and you don't want to maybe you don't have all these empty boxes or something to pencil that in. Just default, at least what I do is default to good old sticky notes. So I got a couple things here already on my schedule that I'm going to put on just quickly. Let's get those paychecks in there first. And I have that off the side here. I hope this is helpful for you. It's creating this video, and I can always refer to it when people have questions or in links and stuff. So I don't always have to re-explain my system. And this is my health journey that I talked about there in the last video when I started it. So I like to congratulate myself and celebrate it. And so I'm looking off to the side again. The kids have no school on the 13th and 14th. And we usually get those, or online, the school will have like a year at a glance paper, kind of something like this. And then they'll have the holidays and stuff like that. And that's what I use to retrieve that information. I don't have that here, and obviously that'd be too much to cover up for privacy reasons. And so I already have it set up, and I'm just doing this for informative purposes so you can see how I set up my junk. And if you want to set up your junk the same way, conferences. So there's no school. And because this, like I said, stuff that I don't put my every single day items on this view. I have those items in the week at a glance. But these are things that are going to impact my day or time, or things I have to take priority action on. That's what I'm putting on my monthly master calendar, my monthly at a glance that I use both here and in here as a satellite. Because I work I work full-time outside the home. I carry this, this guy won't fit in my purse. So I have it, this is what I call the satellite. I have the exact same thing. That's why I can do both. The exact same thing with me, and I carry it at all times. And for me, how I have the entire year in here. And that's so if anything comes up, the kids' doctor's appointments, my doctor's appointments, or I already know what my stuff is. I already know what my most important things are already on the schedule, are already on there. So I can quickly flip. Oh yeah, I could have that vet appointment in August, schedule it in January or December or whatever. So that is what these both talk to each other. And I schedule myself time to sync, like book check-ins is what I call, to sit down and make sure that if I did put something in here, that I get it transferred over to my wall calendar, because this sits above my face. Here's where we're the current month we're in, November 2024, and I use a little flaggy, and this is above my desk in my face when I wake up in the morning. It's in my face at all times, so I know the most key important things in my life are in this on this view right here. All right, so I did the no conferences. I think, and for 21st, I have, let me go back to what I said the actual days were for my planning sheet. Not my planning sheets, my perpetual. Bring that guy right down here so you can see. And I have also Kiki's adoption day on the 21st. Kiki, adopt day. And then my dad's birthday, most likely he'll be in Texas, but I put, stuff that we might celebrate on, or I might want to make sure I get it in red. That'd be day. And I'm not gonna put a sticky, I'm gonna just actually do here. If you didn't want to do a sticky note, you can use those blocks like I said. So I'll say Mom and Dad, Texas, February. And then when they give me those dates, I'll put them on this view. I'm just looking. Maybe I'll highlight that too. Let's highlight that. Let's highlight it. Use orange. So I'm going to just highlight this. And then you also have this blank space here. This blank space here. You can put that in there. If you don't have these boxes, and I don't have a month at a glance on me for that, but some monthly calendars will have like a sidebar. I know the Happy Planner, they have, I'm trying to, hold on just a second. Ta-da! I'm going to be using some of this for 2025. But they'll have their monthly setup. They'll typically have a sidebar. So if you didn't want to use these empty boxes for at least how I set it up, how you're going to do it is up to you. You can put those items in your sidebar action if you have a sidebar and you're like, what do I need to do for that? What I need to be planning for in the month, and then what's coming in the upcoming month that you have some eyeballs on. So that's how you can do that too. But I don't have that on here, so I just utilize any blank boxes or spaces for that. All right, let's see. February. Let me look. We're gonna compare here. I know February. Oh, I got a movie on there. Captain America, and that says it's the 14th. I said Cap America. Might want to go see that, maybe. I don't know. Let me see, because this doesn't have the actual holidays on here. It's a blank. So got a new school day too, because it's President's Day. I don't get this day off, but President's Day. But so I'm like, why don't they have no school? Oh, President's Day. Ha! Let's see if there's any other ones I want to put on here. I'm just looking through the Valentine's Day. Whatever. I'll just put Valentine's. I don't do nothing for it. My niece is all about the Valentine's Day, but yep, that's why. But because I bought dated inserts. These are at a glance size 3 portable. I'll put a link down below. These come with holidays built in, so I don't really worry about those obscure like holidays I might not celebrate being on here. So that's cool. It's cool for me. That works for me. Try not to smash my stuff. Okay, February's done. March. What do we got for March? Let me get my file effects here. It's actually in a Vanderspec personal size, but it's in file facts. Whatever. You get the picture. All right, let's get our get my paydays on there. Ooh, goodness, paydays. That's the 14th and the 28th. Ta-da! One thing I have here is, oh, you can't see that. daylight savings time, right? Because that's going to impact my life, my day, whatever. And that is, according to this calendar, my file facts, that is here. So spring forward. And I already know that means daylight savings. Daylight savings time begins. And we're still doing that stateside. So, and then the kids have this day off. It's cool. And it's saying, I have it written in here. That's a teacher work day. Teacher work day. All right. I have a movie on here. Maybe I don't know. It doesn't look that great, but in case my niece might want to go to it. And I'm looking, syncing it up. Spring begins. I guess I could put that on there. The 20th. Spring begins. Maybe for at work that might impact me. Because I work for a pest control company. I do admin, and that's when things start coming back to life and it gets crazy town. So, okay. All right. So that was quick, or it wasn't quick for the video because I had to talk through my stuff. But so like I said, I have the entire, so here I did January, February, March, and then I just used these sheets. Like I said, we used my perpetual, got it all transferred over, and I have the entire year for 2025 already set up. Those day specific things, birthdays, I went in after, you saw it, went in after the fact. Anything I knew was coming. That's it. This is how you could set up your entire year in advance with your master things. And you're ready to rock. You got a solid foundation. I promise you. At least for me. You know, it works for me, and I get a lot of compliments on my system, and I'm showing you how to create my system to work for you. Now that these are finally done, I've been waiting to get this time to set this up, and I just clip it. So I have November and December 2024 still, and I'm just going to clip 2025 right behind it. And I do the same thing here. I'll show in my files, my personal ring. So this, like I said, this goes above. I can't pan my camera up because I have a lot of things I didn't have time to cover up for the video. So here we go. This is the exact, hey Santa. So I have November as the month is done. The beauty of this is I take it out of the rings, trash it. If there's any items I need to remember from years from now, I do have a binder set up where I have lists and archive that. Might be in a future video or not, but I don't keep my stuff. It served its purpose. I no longer need to refer to it. If I do need to refer to it, it goes in a different place in my system. So I always have the current month clipped in my file facts, but I got November, and then I have 2025 right behind it, ready to rock and roll. And when you sit down and do this for yourself, after you maybe watch this video, you're going to see just how quickly that was. And then you go in and brainstorm what you're going to want to, what you have on the schedule for 2025, what of the week those date specific birthdays and stuff fall on, and anything else. If you want to start planning your stuff out now in advance, I use another insert, which I'm not going to create for this video, and I probably won't recreate it. Let's go Mickey. Hi Mickey. I use what are called planning sheets. So this is the exact same thing as the monthly master. I have all those perpetual things on there, and then I have any of the year specific stuff. Some I not always worked out for me and messed up. And then I have my focus for my goal setting. That is the next step if you want to start elevating your stuff. If you need to, we're not there yet. If you need to, I have videos on a weekly setup and setting up a whole month when you do that. But the idea is when that month actually, you set up a year in advance, you set up, your ideal, this is the idealize what I would want to be working on. I set this up at the around March because I was developing this system. But I will be sitting down here either this month or next month and looking at 2025 at a glance to see where I can fit in some projects, either for my house or personal development and so forth. And then how you execute these items, how you schedule these. You know, like I said, we put those on that monthly, you know, to when to buy stuff. Whatever day we choose is when we use our scheduler, or however you have that set up for your stuff. So if you do, you know, weekly or daily planning, I have some of those videos on there. You can check those out and see how I do that. I don't know if I'll go into that deep of a session, but the 2 videos I do have, they're quite popular, are a May weekly plan with me and a June monthly plan, like a month setup. So I go and I show you how, when that month actually hits, how I execute those items. So that would be part 3 of the video, would be of you know, setting stuff up. But this is year specific. This is year specific. You could see how I do the project planning like this. I'm gonna grab my Christmas book here, just as a quickie. I did this is my Christmas project planner, and I created those same sheets for just the project of Christmas. And what I did from the ground up, just real quick, if you watch those videos, you already know, was I mapped out, I did like a brain dump. First I did what I normally do for Christmas, and then I brain dumped what I needed to do for that current Christmas. And then I did a timeline of when I actually do stuff, normally do stuff, and then I plotted things. I made a goal to get like my Christmas baking done before December. That was my major goal for this year. And then I plotted it out, kind of did the same thing, right? I got the data and the tasks associated, and then I went in and highlighted it and assigned them months in which I think I could get them done. And I put them on these sheets, and that's how these sheets worked for me. It was, you know, year specific stuff, you know, that this Christmas 2024 only. And then when the month actually got here, I went through this list and like, can I realistically get these done? Some things I had to push forward. So that is what the third process in my system is, before I lay it out in my weeklies and my daily stuff. So I hope you found value in these 2 videos, and I really hope that the perpetual, let's bring mine out, the perpetual. I hope this actually works for you. I hope, you know, you find value, and I get a lot of questions on how to set this up, or you know, ooh, how it worked for me. Again, set this up anytime of the year, wherever you're at in your little life, you could set this up. This is in the first video, and then that way, this is your foundation for setting up, like what I showed you in this video, setting up your foundation for any year in advance. And then you go in and put your whatever current year stuff you got going on in your life on there. And what I put in for at a glance stuff, or anything that impact my day that I need to, like my meetings and stuff, when the month actually gets here is when I put those in there. I didn't put that in for January, I mean in the upcoming months, but when the actual month hits, is that stuff you put on there. Anything that's going to impact your day, any appointments, you know, movies, you know, whatever. And then your daily tasks and stuff. I mean, if you have room, if that's not going to hurt your eyeballs, that stuff would hurt my eyeballs. You could put it on there, not put it on there. I like paychecks, because when I do my budgeting, it's shadow. I put in my paydays for budgeting purposes and week resets. I might have a future video where I go through my budget, but a lot of stuff is private and can't see and so forth. But hope you found value in this. Let me know how this works for you, and you know, setting up your year. And the time of the production and release of these videos is November 2024. I just showed you a setup for an entire year. So for 2025, I'm going to be doing hopefully some maybe quarterly planning. Who knows? It's hard to do with a full-time job and kids and everything else. But hope you found value, and I hope I keep bringing this down, bringing it up. I hope these two tools that we created in these two videos really work for you. My mantra is, you know, your planner should work for you and not against you. We need to don't get hung up on aesthetics. If you want to be an aesthetic planner, maybe have a separate, you know, some notebook paper, because I promise you most of the aesthetic planners you see on YouTube, they do stuff like this first, or they have a separate thing that they're looking at, and then they go in and make things beautiful with stickers and stuff. I love those videos. I'm not dogging on them, but you know, like I typically don't plan with stickers, but I had for Halloween, I put it in because Halloween was my favorite. So if that is something you're concerned about, just do your rough draft first, and then put in your stuff in a final draft. So that is my advice for that. We'll see you in the next video. Hopefully we get more 2025 videos up soon before Christmas, but we don't know. Bye.